friends, welcome back to Twisted Stitches. My name is Tammy. How's everybody doing? Welcome back, my Twisted Tribe. Glad to see everybody coming on. Today is January 20th, 2020, and I am here to show you my couple of projects that I got done for the 2020 challenge that was created by Creative Grandma Glenda and Christa at the Secret Yarnery. It started out as an ice yarns challenge, and then it was opened up for all yarns were able to be used for this challenge, which is awesome. That was just awesome. Thank you, Glenda, and thank you, Christa, for this. Kind of gave me a little bit of something to do, and I really appreciate it. So my first project here is a scarf, and this particular pattern is actually a Yarnspirations pattern for a blanket, an Afghan. And I saw the Afghan online, and it was a free pattern with Yarnspirations, and I just loved the way it looked. I'm not sure, but I think this may be the way it really is supposed to be worn or shown. See, like that, it kind of looks like tears like that. But I kind of like it this way. I don't know. It could be both ways, I think. But the pattern that I got offline right here is called, hold on one second, the OGEE Stitch Crochet Afghan. You can find this pattern on yarnspirations.com. And I believe this is they made this particular one with the velvet yarn. It's a very beautiful pattern. The pattern, I believe, was an intermediate. Yeah, it is actually right there. It says it, intermediate, right there. It wasn't that difficult to do. There was a couple little areas that I was a little bit unsure of what exactly they were trying to communicate to me with the written word. But luckily with this particular pattern, and I think Yarnspirations is pretty good with this, they had a chart. So where I was getting a little bit confused with the word, the written word part, I just went and referred to this chart, and it was okay. There was no problem. So if you're someone who's pretty proficient with crocheting and you know a little bit about patterns, well, this pattern I was able to work up pretty easily. I didn't need any help, and I didn't look for any tutorials. There may be a tutorial out there because Yarnspirations is pretty good with having tutorials. I think Marley Bird does a lot of the tutorials, and who's the other one? It's a guy. Mikey. Mikey does a lot of the tutorials for this kind of stuff. But it's not that difficult. I think you could run with it and make it work. I just added I always add notes to my patterns. So this particular one right here, because it was a blanket pattern, and this, oops, excuse me, this is where it starts right here. See the dark purple right there? I realized after I did these are each 2 rows. So that's 2 rows, you change colors. This is 2 rows, you change colors, so on and so forth. When I got to about here, I realized I can't just keep on going for a scarf, because then if I wrap it around me, the other side is going to sit like this. And so I'd have one side of me sitting like that and the other side sitting like this. So my ingenious idea was to make 2 sides, the same amount of pattern repeats. And I just threw a few just plain double crochets like this, and then put it together right here. I don't really like the way this came out right here. You can see it. I did slip stitching, but I don't know if it's because this is like a nylon and it kind of bunched up. And I've tried to relax it, and I've tried working the seam a little bit, but it hasn't done it. But that's okay, because this particular part of it will be back here. I don't think anybody will ever see it. I'm not real worried about it. So it's okay. I love it. It feels wonderful. This was made with the latte cakes, the Karen latte cakes. I had showed them in a previous shopping trip. I went to Michael's and bought these. I did these colors here. This one right here, this is part of this, which is called Blackberry, which is a self-striping one. I wanted this pearlescent color because you see how beautiful that looks right here. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of that color, and it quickly, let's see, I got like 1, 2, 3 sets, and then it quickly started turning colors. And I didn't really want to tear this cake apart too much. I tore it apart one time to be able to do both sides the same. So each side starts off the same way and then fades into the darker. Let me see if you can tell. See? You can kind of see where it's pretty good. It came out pretty good that way. So that's why I did it that way. So this color here, like I said, was the color Blackberry, which is beautiful. I'm going to make a hat out of that, by the way. Then I used the darker purple color, is called Plum. And the gray color is called Gray Velvet. And I have a decent amount left. Each one of these cakes has 8.8 ounces, 250 grams, 530 yards, or 485 meters. So I do believe that I used, I don't know what, maybe 100 yards each. But I love the way it came out. I love the way it feels. This is just very, to me, it feels very luxurious. And I'm very glad I made it. I challenged myself a little bit to make a pattern that was a little bit more difficult than, like, you know, any kind of basic stitch. I just kind of getting bored with basic stitches. I want to push myself a little bit more and find some more, like, definitely more challenging things to crochet. I think everybody kind of gets bored after a while of just doing double crochets or half double crochets. The reason that this took me a little bit of time was I saved these, and they're falling all over the place. This were the tails I had to tie in. All these. All this was on that scarf because you had to change colors every 2 rows. And I'm definitely not going to make a blanket because could you imagine a large blanket? I mean, my scarf was a lot smaller and a lot less in length. I can't imagine making this blanket here with all those ends to weave in. Oh my God. It took me over 2 hours to weave in those ends the way I like them weaved in and get rid of it, all that. I just wanted to show you, just in case you decide to do something like this and you're going to change colors. I'd imagine you could do it in all one color or self-striping and let it stripe the way it will, however it wants to. It'll be fine. But just a heads up, if you're going to change the colors every 2 rows, you will have a lot of tie-ins. So the next project that I did, well, the last project that I did is, you might all recognize this. Yes, it's a Bag-O-Day pattern. This is Crystal's pattern. This is the wide neck cowl bandana, or bandana cowl. I will link it down below. I will also link the pattern for the Yarnspirations for the OG pattern also. So this here, I made this out of Red Heart Super Saver in the color Banana Berry. I got these at Hirschner's when they had the 3 skeins for $5. So I have almost 2 more skeins. This here, after I made the cowl part of the neck and the bandana part, this is what was left out of the first skein. It was starting to get all like, you know, falling in on itself, and it was starting to get knotty. So I decided to just roll this into a little ball and set it to the side for, you know, scrap or whatever. And I started a new skein to do all the fringe, because I wanted the fringe. I don't know why, but I did want the fringe. I was a little bit weird, not weird, but a little bit, these are not my colors. I usually don't do this, but I kind of like the way it turned out. I think it looks really good. I'm wearing a black shirt, and I think with the black shirt, it kind of looks snazzy. What do you all think? I like it. I don't know why. When I first started making it, I was like, maybe not. But when I got done and I put it on, and I'm not usually a blue and greens and yellows kind of gal, but I don't know, it doesn't look too bad. I'm just going to roll with it and going to do it. But this banana berry it's a 5-ounce skein, and it has 236 yards or 218 meters. This is 100% acrylic. You know, a lot of people know what Red Heart Super Saver is. I didn't wash it yet, so it still feels a little bit stiff. So after I'm done washing it, I'll let you know if it got softer, but it's not too bad. I mean, playing with it and scrunching around, that usually will soften up a lot just from doing that. But those were my 2 projects that I got done. I'll be back on with another video very soon. I just want to do a little bit of an update, kind of like an update shout out. Hey, what's going on? I didn't want to put it in this video, so I should have that up either later tonight or tomorrow morning. I hope you all have a great night. I will talk to you real soon. Bye.